Today I'm going to be talking about episode 10, which is Raised by Another. This is Claire's first flashback episode. I don't, I don't know, she doesn't get a whole lot of flashback episodes in Lost because she's kind of out of it by the time season 4 rolls around. I mean, she's still in season 4, but it's like half of season 4 or something, and then not at all season 5. And then I don't think she has any specifically centric episodes in season 6. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, yeah, this is Claire's first flashback episode, and I don't remember the specifics about Emily D. Raven in season 1. I don't think, like, she might not be credited as a main character just yet, or she's credited as a main, like, when she returns or something. That I don't know how it works, but I know she's not credited as a main character for the entirety of season 1. I mean, well, she's not in. She's not. She really doesn't miss out on a whole lot of episodes. I'm very curious about the decision to have Claire gone for this period of time. Uh, I mean, I would understand if it was like a way to deal with the pregnancy, like she's kidnapped while she's pregnant and then she comes back not pregnant. Like, I would understand that, like, as a way to deal with that. Uh, but I suppose it's just more drama, honestly, and it's all in service of the others, which is this is what's the main focus of this episode is really finally getting to that point. Like, yeah, there are other people on this island, and they don't really have the best intentions out there. Uh, Now, it's interesting that this episode ends with the reveal that there's somebody who wasn't on the plane, not on the manifest. But I don't really remember at the time of watching it, but I'm very curious as to what people thought of the implications of that were. Because they don't reveal that it's Ethan, right? I mean, it's subtle, it's very not subtly implied at the end that it is Ethan, but they don't reveal that it's Ethan, and they don't reveal that it is like an outsider infiltrating them, because, as Sawyer will point out in the next episode, I believe, uh, Ethan could have just been lying about his name. So I'm very curious as to what people thought after seeing this. Was just like the general consensus, like, oh yeah, well, that's Ethan, the creepy dude, at the end? Or was there maybe thought, like, well, is it Ethan? Is what's going on here? What's exactly? I wonder if there was, like, speculation that maybe it wasn't Ethan and maybe it was somebody else. I mean, that could have been a misdirect, a red herring showing Ethan at the end. And it doesn't even imply at the end that Claire and Charlie get kidnapped by Ethan. It just kind of ends with him standing there creepy, staring at them. So I don't know if the implication is meant to be that he intends to do no good in this situation, but it's interesting. Now, overall, again, this was a solid episode. The flashbacks are interesting. When you look at the broader kind of mysteries and mythology of the show, this has some interesting stuff, specifically with the psychic Richard Malkin, I believe his name is, who we do see this guy again, and there's still to this day a lot of questions around this character and whether or not he truly is psychic and what's going on with this situation, because he does claim to be a fake. He does put that out there, that he is a fake. He accepts that, not openly, of course. He doesn't openly say he's a fake, but he does finally admit to Echo that he's not a real psychic. So, that brings into question all of this stuff. Was this like the real instance of him actually having, like, did he actually have some form of psychic vision? I mean, you could also, theoretically suspect some some Jacob intervention here. I know I haven't mentioned Jacob before. I mean, maybe I have mentioned Jacob. I don't know if I've mentioned Jacob. It doesn't matter. But you could suspect some Jacob involvement here. Maybe this was Jacob, sending things to the psychic's way to make sure events unfold the way they're supposed to be. Jacob making sure that Claire gets on that plane via the psychic. Because we do know that Jacob manipulates events to get these characters on the plane because he knows the plane is gonna. Now, I'm not gonna get into Jacob right now. I've got a lot to say about Jacob and his influence. I'm not gonna get into it too much. I want to stick to this episode. So you have like the two main plots, which are very much connected. It's not so much like an A or a B plot because they kind of, it's kind of like branching off. They start together, they branch the separate ways, and they come back together because it's all Hurley. The separate plot is Hurley and the manifest. When the main plot is Jack, Claire, Charlie. The pregnancy stuff, the dreams, her being attacked in the caves, or she believes she was attacked in the caves. So like those diverge, Hurley and the manifest, but that does eventually the manifest and the census that does come back in the end, of course, for a great, a classic moment of the, he wasn't on the plane, and the return of Sayid as well. So Sayid's only gone pretty much. He's gone 2 episodes. From the perspective of the characters on the show, because they didn't seem in solitary, but for us, he's really only gone 1 episode, because most of 1 episode, because he does come back at the end. So still, we're not getting any big gaps with characters missing, and that's mainly because they're all together. This isn't like season 3 when you got 4 people in Hydra Island and 3 people in Dharmaville and the rest on the beach, and you'll go 2 or 3 episodes without seeing somebody just because that's the way it happens. But yeah, it was a solid episode, really. I mean, it's a great way to kind of start this ball rolling. Like you said, you could call the last episode Solitary kind of the calm before the storm, especially with like the joyous nature of the golf stuff. This is kind of like the storm's hit. They realize they've been infiltrated. Sayid comes out with that we're not alone. So it really is some solid stuff in this episode. But yeah, I mean that's really all I got. Next episode is, I believe the next episode is all the best cowboys have daddy issues, which is second Jack episode. So yeah, I'll see you then for that. I'll see you then for that. See you next time.